Good evening, fellow YouTubers. It's Brad Duffy with Brad's Backyard Bees. What a crazy time of year it has been so far for bees and for us and everyone else in this area. It's been cold, it's been windy, it's been raining. Haven't been in the hives really since the last videos that I uploaded. We installed those packages, which I showed on my last video. Did a quick check on those the other day, and the good part is the queen is out and laying. And I wanted to talk this evening. I didn't want to not put a video out this week. I have had several people ask me on one of the most useful tools that we use in beekeeping, and asking me about smokers. It's always a good idea to light your smoker when you're getting in your bees. Some people have said, well, I don't light it generally, or if I'm just going to be in them quick. Well, that might be one thing if you're just going to be in and out. But really, as beekeepers, we should be using a smoker. It keeps the bees calm, and if they decide to not be calm, it's one way that can calm them back down. And I've talked to a lot of people that have said, I can't keep my smoker lit. I'm just, for some reason, it keeps going out. It'll light for a little while, and then it'll go out on them. And so I wanted to give you just my tips. This is what I do. As with anything on these videos, this is just what I do. I'm sure there's other ways. As far as materials that can be utilized in the smoker for fuel, I'll show you what I use. I go to the Tractor Supply, the pet store, whatever the case is. I buy pine shavings. We use these in our quilt boxes, which you've seen me remove on our hives. I buy a great big bag of them for, I don't know what the price is. It's probably less than $10. Just these shavings, if you're a woodworker or you have a wood shop that you have like a planer, you would have all this as free fuel that you could use. If you know somebody that has that wood shop, just say something to them. I'm sure they would not mind you sweeping their floor or checking out their garbage can to get the shavings. If you don't want to go buy them, and go that route, if you go to the woods and you have some pine trees, preferably like white pine with the real long needles, they work well. They are a little bit sootier in my opinion, but they work well. You can buy different fuels in the catalogs. There's some that look like pellets, like you'd use for a pellet stove. Burlap, I know some people that say they use burlap. I think you can buy a burlap smoker fuel. I don't have any experience with it, but it should be no issue. You could use leaves. I've heard people say they use grass clippings. Anything that's going to make, you want a good, cool, thick smoke. You don't want to be blowing sparks and embers out of the smoker if at all possible. It's not good for the bees. So anything like that you can use that gets a good, cool, white, thick smoke, you're best off. Now, as far as the things that I will take for the smoker, obviously I have a bucket there with my fuel in it. One of these torches that you can get, and it's in the camping section at your local Walmart. These are handy for lighting a smoker. The self-ignition, the spark on it, it works sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. So just take a lighter, a cigarette lighter, or one of those stick lighters. Keep that in your bucket, and then I'll also keep. I'm sure everyone keeps some paper towels. It's especially a good idea if you wear rubber gloves or no gloves between hives to wash your hands, and that'll be a subject possibly for another video. With alcohol, and in the event that there would be a disease in one hive, that you won't spread it to all your hives, depending how many you run. But I always keep some towels with me, and I use it in lighting the smoker. So the ones that say they're unable to keep their smoker lit, to some degree, to some defense of the person, the bellows are the most important thing, in my opinion, on a smoker. Here's a smoker that comes with most of your kits. You get a hive, you get the hive tool, you get the smoker, you get a few other things. I started out with this one. It's a decent smoker, but like I said, the bellows is where your differences come. This bellow does not put out a lot of air volume, and in my opinion, of course, I'm checking, a dozen, maybe two dozen or more hives at a time. I want something with a bigger can on it so that I can keep the smoker going for a while. But these bellows really, I think, is part of the problem, and I will show you. This is my favorite smoker. It's got a nice big can on it, or place for the fire. These bellows, they come from Man Lake. I was a little bit reluctant at first with the rubber idea, the plastic rubber idea. But when you puff these smokers, they really produce a lot of air volume. And that's something you really do want when you're using it. I know Daydant, they make some nice smokers, or so I hear. I don't have one. I may get one at one point. But these bellows, these are really nice, and they're really inexpensive, less than $20. And this section here that's rubber, as we all know in the sun, and this one's beginning to start showing signs of wear. It's been used a while. This is replaceable. You can put a new section on them, or you could just buy the whole new thing. But, so it really, in a sense, for a smoker like this, if I wanted to, I could buy one of these bellows. Typically, there's just 4 screws that hold the bellow on. And, as far as that's concerned, that you could just replace the bellow on it. Inside your smoker, at the bottom, you have a grate. You probably won't be able to get this one out because it's not been cleaned in a while. But inside your smoke can, you have a grate in the bottom. This allows for the air to come up through from the bellow and to go into the smoke chamber. So you want that sitting, and there's little feet on the bottom of that, so you want it sitting off the bottom. So when you're doing when you're using it, that the air can get underneath of it. And as far as lighting a smoker, like I said, this is something that I get questions about all the time. Well, it lights and I can't keep it to stay lit. I've seen this smoker, even once I'm done in the bee yards, I'll set it here on our sidewalk. I've seen this thing smoke for hours after being lit. And I'm probably not the best, and I neglect keeping it super clean as I should. It's pretty sooted up, and smoke sort of leaks out of the couple places ahead of the nozzle. But I'm just going to show you, like I said, this may be sort of elementary to some, and this may be helpful to some, what I do to light the smoker. So first thing I do is I take a paper towel, and I'll take just a small piece of it, and I'll ball that paper towel up. Just ball it up like that and set that into the bottom of the smoker. And then I'll take a handful of wood chips, about like that, just enough to sort of cover the towel that you can still see where your towel is. So put those in there, and then I will take the torch, and this is where this comes in handy. Like I said, my igniter on it doesn't work well, so we'll light the torch. And what I do, and I'm doing this in the garage tonight, just simply because it's been so miserable out, I'll take this, put it down in the smoker, and get a little bit of a fire started. I'm going to be sort of careful since I am doing it inside. I want to catch my garage on fire with the sparks. But the key to it is to get that fire started inside the smoker, which you can see, and just lightly give it some puffs so you get the flames to increase. You're getting your fire built, and then it's the key to it's just to add small amounts at first. I'll put some shavings in. You see we're getting smoke air, and just keep puffing it. And what'll happen is here, that'll ignite. As you're looking down inside there, sorry, trying to get it to where you can see. Just keep puffing. So your flames, you'll see the flames here in a second. Like I said, it's a little bit of a process getting it started, but when you start it correctly, this thing will keep going for a while. Even that other smoker, I don't use it often. All right, we're getting flames here. So now, if I was outside, I'd probably be pumping harder on this. Like I said, I don't want to get sparks flying too much here in the garage tonight. So once you got the fire going good again, add another layer of chips. Start pumping that. Notice you're getting lots and lots and lots of smoke here. And what I'll do, and I think as I probably don't have to continually do this, you can see, I mean, beautiful smoke here. And let that, the point I'm trying to make here is when you're doing it that way in layers, let it light again. And you got to keep it away from your face. I'm trying to have it close here just so you can see it in the camera. Okay, so you really got a good fire in there at this point. Then I'll take chips, pack them in there. Take big handfuls of them. Pack the wood chips in, especially if I'm going to be checking several different hives. Pack them in, keep pumping, keep puffing. As you see here, you just start to pack them in there. I'm not going to keep adding them because I don't want this will probably end up smoking all night. But as you see, you've got a good fire in your smoker. This thing's going to stay lit for quite some time. You got a very nice, cool white smoke coming out of it. And then you put your lid back, your nozzle down on it, and your smoker is ready to go. You got great smoke. Like I said, this thing's getting a little bit old, so it's leaking around it a little bit. But you can feel it at the touch of your hand. It's not hot. It's not blowing sparks. You got a good cool smoke, good thick smoke. Periodically, while you're in your bees, give it a puff. Keep your smoker going. But as you can see, it's letting smoke out just on its own without puffing it. It's a good fire inside there. It does get hot to the touch, and you've got a good light on your smoker. Like I said, now that'll go for hours. Now here's another high-tech thing that we use as beekeepers. Just a regular old stick with the end of it whittled down a little bit. And when you're done, you want to put it out. As with any fire, if it doesn't get air, what happens? It goes out. You can stick a stick down in it. Or when you get back to the house, after you've done that and you know it's pretty well out, what you should do is take your lid off, because what will happen is around the edge of this will get, your smoker is going to be full of soot. I don't know if you can tell, this has been used quite a bit and it hasn't been cleaned out again. I sort of neglected it. You know, this will get galled onto the top. This lid, if you let it go out on its own and sit outside, you'll have a heck of a time unless you heat it up with your torch, getting this back off again. So that's sort of what I wanted to do in this video. I know this might come across as sort of an elementary or a really beginner video, but like I said, it's nothing more frustrating, especially you're in a hive and the bees start getting a little hot on you, and your smoker's out. And you know they're starting to sting you, and especially true. And we'll probably talk about stings and stinging. But if you say get stung on the hand, one thing you want to do is put some smoke on it, because they release a pheromone that tells other bees to come out. Say if it stings you in a certain spot on your hand, you'll find that you'll get stung on the hand again because of that pheromone. So. Just a short clip, actually, just wanted to go over with about smokers. I think you should always have one when you're in the bee yard. There's something that should always be lit when you're checking your bees, and it helps. It avoids crushing and other things with the bees if you're in your hives. So I hope you find this thing helpful. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on it. I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't subscribed or liked, I would appreciate you like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on the upcoming videos. Appreciate you guys stopping by this evening. Have a good week.